Hi, it's Andy, and today I'm bringing you my March TBR. First thing I want to address is that I feel like my setup is a bit strange today. Something just doesn't feel right to me when I'm looking at the screen. Like, I feel like I'm not quite sitting straight, but I can't. I've been faffing about with it for about half an hour now and I can't get it right. The lighting feels off, everything just feels off. So we're just going with this, and if it's off-putting, I'm sorry, but I've tried to fix it and I can't. This is the best I can manage right now. I can't work out what's wrong with it. But yeah, hopefully I'll figure it out for the next time. Secondly, March is Marvelathon month and I am part of Team Villains. My character for that is Venom, and I will link the announcement video down below again for you so that you can get all the prompts, all the details for joining Team Villains, because you don't want to worry about joining Team Heroes. Just don't even bother. Just a little side so just a little side note here. My friends and I who are taking part in this, being team captains and team members and things like this of Marvelathon, our love language a lot of the time is to completely rip the piss out of each other. So we will, on lives and stuff, and whenever we're doing videos and stuff, we will get a little bit catty with each other, and we will be quite we're a little bit competitive. It is all in good fun. We all know we're just kidding. It is not that deep. Like, it is a readathon. It is not. Nobody is losing friendships or anything over it. But we will rip the piss out of each other. Like, don't even worry about it. So yeah, if you see that, don't worry about it. It's not that deep. So yeah, but we can sound quite mean. But we've known each other long enough now that that's just how we interact a lot of the time. So yeah, just in case you see that and you get a bit unsure about it, please know that we love each other deeply, and that is just our way of communicating. Last month's TBR was quite ambitious. This month, not so much. I've pulled, I think, 10 books off of my TBR to read this month. I will probably read more, and they're already jumping to try and be shown. I will probably read more, hopefully. I hope I'll read more, but there's nothing jumping out at me other than, these guys at the moment. So I will start off with my core TBR and then I can branch it from there. But yeah, I am not trying to overload myself for Marvelathon. I know that I can get really into Marvelathon, and it really, last year I read 31 books for Marvelathon. That was not the plan for Marvelathon last year. So hopefully this year I'll get the same sort of boost for reading. I don't think I'm going to manage 31 books, but hopefully I can read more than the 10 I've pulled and get some good point scorers in there. As always, I will leave the details of Marvelathon down there for you to go and have a look through. Before I get started on my TBR, I do have to do my jar pick for the month. I can never open this, honestly. Hopefully it'll get easier. Right, so there is one that we don't want, and we may have to do some jiggly pokery if it comes up. So, Gem, cross your fingers for me that it doesn't come up. I'm mixing. Oh my god, right, so we don't want Gem's pick. We do not. It will mess everybody's lives up if we pick Fragile Threads. Wait, we're not going with that one. Okay, no. Right, okay. We'll go with this one. So we want pretty much anything but Fragile Threads. Maybe even not Furyborn. Right, who? I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Come on. Big girl pants on. Big girl pants on. Who's that? I can't read that backwards. Smash! Smash. Oh, what was Smash's one? I'm so underprepared for this. So, I've gone and gotten the book. As you saw, it was Smash. Oh. It was Smash. I'll tag down below. Smash is also one of the lovely hosts for Marvelathon. My heart is beating out my chest. I'm sure Gem's is as well. The lovely Smash, who is a goddess among women. chose The Summer I Turned Pretty by Jenny Han. I have been wanting to pick this up since it got put on this list. I'm really excited to read this. I'm actually going... The adrenaline is pumping through me. I was so scared I was going to get Fragile Threads. Like, that would have thrown off so many TBRs. Like, that one has consequences. Like, I really, really want to read it, but Jem has said she'll read it with me. Siobhan has said they will read it with me. I think Tori's going to read it. Like, there are so many people that have said they will buddy read it when I pick it out of my jar. And for Marvelathon month, that's not what we wanted. So if I picked that, my heart is beating out of chest. Come on, Andy, you're being dramatic here. You're being dramatic. But this is excellent. Smash, you are my hero right now. This book is only like 276 pages long. 276 pages long. And it's got a really nice, I really like the spine. Yeah, so this is Jenny Han's, I don't even know if it's connected in any way to her other series, which is the PS... whatever it's called. Child Boys Love Before. Oh my god, Lara Jean series. I'm so scattered right now, sorry. But yeah, I really liked her Jenny Han series. Stop saying that. I really liked her other series, so I really hope I like this. But yeah, this will be one of my reads for March. And as a second part of that pick, the prompt that Smash has picked for me is to read a book based on your favourite colour, and for that I have picked All of the Above by Juno Dawson, and this is Juno Dawson's, in her own words, an ode to pansexuality. So I've picked this based on the fact that this pink, like this specifically, this pink is one of my favourite colours. Like, I love, like, the spreadsheet in front of me is this colour pink. And I am pansexual. I have my pan flag sitting right over there. And I love the pan flag. It's one of my favourite flags because of the colour combination. Like, this blue, the yellow, like the colours of it are my favourite. Like, I love jewel tones. So, like, the colours are just, like, my favourite, like, versions of those colours. So, yeah, like, look at the little pan flag. But yeah, this is a YA book about a pansexual teenager. I think maybe her learning, like a coming of age story about her learning what pansexuality is and that she is pansexual. I think. I don't know. It's a book about pansexuality. Like, this is my Imogen, obviously. Like, Becca will understand this. Like, Imogen, obviously, to her, was like the whole thing about being bisexual as a teenager and like coming to that realisation. Like, I'm pansexual, so it's a slightly different... There are slightly different nuances, and this is my version, so I'm very excited to read this. So with the drama all over, on to my actual main TBR. The first book is The Deepest Blue by Sarah Beth Durst. I know pretty much nothing about this, other than the fact that Vicky has recommended it to me. I think it is fantasy. It is something about water. I think there might be slight horror in it. I don't know, but it's the last book that I have borrowed of Vicky's. I need to get back to her, so I need to get it read. That is basically why it's on the TBR. And next is a brand new book that I just got in my hands recently, and that is An Education in Malice by S.T. Gibson. This is S.T. Gibson's new book, which is a retelling of Carmilla, and Emma has already read this and loved it, and I loved Dowry of Blood. Dowry of Blood was one of my favourite books of the year I read it, which I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but it was one of my favourite books of that year, possibly one of my favourite books of all time. And if S.T. Gibson continues on like that, then they are bound to be one of my favourite authors of all time. And from what Emma has said, I have full faith that this is going to be, you know, up there with one of my favourite books of all time. All I know about it is that it is a Carmilla retelling, but it's set at a university. That's all I want to know. I'm just going to go in blind and hope. Next up is a book I have 2 copies of and yet have not read, and that is Iron Widow by Sharon J. Zhao. Yeah, I've got the paperback and I've got the hardback of this because I ordered, like, I got the paperback to read, okay? And then I was like, well, I'm going to want to pre-order Heavenly Tyrant. And then the pre-order of Heavenly Tyrant is only in hardback, so I have to get the hardback to match that. So I have 2 copies of it now. Sue me. I'm now realising I think this is a small hardback. So I don't know. Hopefully the hardback of Heavenly Tyrant is the same size. Anywho, this book, if you don't know what it's about, I don't necessarily know what it's about either. Jiran themselves say that this book is a retelling of the first female emperor of China, and it has been likened to, oh, what's it called? Again, can't remember what it's called. It has been likened to, you know that movie with the big Pacific Rim, there it is. The Handmaid's Tale meets Pacific Rim. And I really, really like Pacific Rim, so that is pretty much all I know about it. Plus, I've seen a lot of the author on social media, on their TikTok, on their Instagram, and on their YouTube channel, and I think they are fantastic. So even if I don't like it, I'm not going to be mad about giving my money to them. So win-win. Next up is Stateless by Elizabeth Vine. Again, not entirely sure what this is about. This will be most likely about a female pilot of some sort in World War II, because that is what Elizabeth Vine writes about. She is one of my autobi authors, so I have pretty much every book she has ever written, and this is just the newest one of her books. So this isn't actually during World War II, it's just before World War II, and it is a murder mystery happening on the backdrop of pre-war Europe. Interesting. I'm not usually one for a murder mystery, so this will be interesting to see, because normally if something's a murder mystery, I won't read it, but I already know I love Elizabeth Vine, so we shall see. Now I'm nervous. But hopefully there's more about the pilots in it. Next up is Fangirl Down by Tessa Bailey, and this is Tessa Bailey's newest release. This is about a golf pro and a something. Not a clue. A fan? I don't know. Tessa Bailey is becoming an autobi author for me. I absolutely love her romances, and I'll pretty much try anything that she writes. So it's a chunker as well. Like this is a hefty romance book. Like this has got to be over. Oh no, it's just thick pages. Okay, it's 360 odd pages long, which is still chunky for a romance. But yeah, I am very excited to get into this. All I've seen is rave reviews, so let's hope that I also have a rave review for this. The talking today is not happening. Next is one we all saw coming, and that is not a joke. Shut up, Becca. I know that is what she said. But next up is Bride by Ali Hazelwood, and again, one I'm fairly nervous about, but Ali Hazelwood has become an autobi author. I did not look into this before I picked it up, and now from reviews that I'm seeing, I'm unsure. But you know what? I was unsure about her last one. I loved it. I'm going to go into this just thinking, you know, fuck it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It will be fine. This is a romance between a werewolf and a vampire, and it may dip its toe into the Megaverse. And I know I've been getting into like smutty romance novels and stuff, but this might be a step too far. We shall see. Next is Husband Material by Alexis Hall. I, again, just got this recently. We're doing a lot of recent purchases and stuff. Shut up. I'll get to my backlist at some point. I will, I swear. But yeah, I have recently read Boyfriend Material, and I absolutely loved it. And I wanted to immediately pick up Husband Material, but I did not have it, and so Vicky bought me it, because Vicky is a terrible but beautiful and lovely but awful person, and keeps buying me books. Yeah, so this is about Luke and Oliver, and in the first book, Luke is the sort of semi-disgraced son of two rock stars from like the 80s, I want to say. And he needs to basically get his image better in the press, or he will lose the only job that will have him at this charity for dung beetles, which, by the way, the charity, so funny. And he really, really needs like some fast way to make himself look like better. So he ends up fake dating this lawyer, this barrister called Oliver, who's a friend of a friend. But obviously we all know how fake dating goes, and they end up together. And yeah, it seems to be going well because this one is titled Husband Material. And this is a continuation of their relationship. This kind of reminded me a lot of Red, White and Royal Blue. Like, I could see very consistent or very similar traits in these two as I did in Alex and Henry, but it wasn't quite as like manic, probably because they weren't like a royal and a president's son. You know, you could see that, but I really love these characters. They were so I just wanted to protect them. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this. And Father Material, which is the third one, comes out this year or next year. I'm not entirely sure. And the last two I have pulled, and yes, I said two because I might as well just tell you about two at the same time, are Vampires Like It Hot and The Trouble with Vampires. This is me trying to read off the screen backwards. And these are the next two in my Lindsay's Hands reread. My goodness. I cannot. This one's longer than the others. No, this one's much shorter than the others. This one's a lot shorter than the others. Look at the difference in that. Anyway, so Vampires Like It Hot follows Raphael Snotty. I was going to say Raphael Santo, but this one follows Santo Naughty. Raphael Naughty. Oh my god. The talking, I told you. It's not happening today. Raphael Naughty and Santo Naughty, and they are cousins. We meet them in... Did we meet them in Marguerite's book? Was it all the way back then? We definitely meet them in... No, we meet them in Christian's book. We meet them in Christian's book. They are his cousins. Raphael's, I don't remember the most about, but I do know that I like the cousins. Like, I always love when the cousins are involved, and I know that it's always interesting when the cousins are involved. So I am looking forward to reading this again. I don't remember anything that happens in this, which is unfortunate because I do... It's such a shame because I always love these whenever you read them, and I do, like, bits start to come back when I read them, but nothing is ringing a bell when I read the synopsis of this. Santo, however, there is one of the books that is only a few before this that I've read recently, and in that book there is a man who is cut in half and left apart until he's almost healed, and then put back together to heal. And it happens to him repeatedly, and he is tortured and cut into bits and reattached and cut into bits and reattached because someone is experimenting. That's Dr. Dressler is experimenting on him to see how immortals heal, and unfortunately that is Santo. And Santo ends up suffering from severe PTSD and nightmares and really, really struggling mentally with it. And Santo has always been, you know, the manly man. He looks tough. Like, he would look like a skinhead biker if he was human. He was like fully human, because like he shaves his head, and he would be covered in tattoos and piercings if he could be, but he can't be because nanos would like eject it from his body. So he's that kind of, like, you can imagine, like the kind that would just bury everything and not talk about it, push his family away, and that's exactly what he does. But it's now gotten to the point where he can't do that any longer because it is pulling to the surface, and he's really, really suffering. And I mean, really, really, like, imagine getting tortured like that. Like, it doesn't matter who you are, you can't continue to go on like that. Like, the things that, I mean, it says here, for close to 3,000 years, Santo Naughty has fought in the armies across the world and battled his own more personal enemies. Of all the places he might expect to encounter his life mate, a quiet corner of upstate New York doesn't seem likely. But yeah, he has basically gone to escape and see loads of therapists and meets her, and he's like, I can't give myself to you or expect you to give yourself to me because I'm a mess of a human. And oh god, Santo's story, I just remember, like, I remember this one vividly because the mental anguish that Santo was in is just painfully described. Like, the way he was tortured and the flashbacks that he has, because you're in each of these characters' heads from their point of view, and the memories and the nightmares of the torture is unbelievably vivid, and it's just so not good, but like so well described and so visceral that you feel it, like you not feel it, but like you can almost like you feel your pulse getting like higher, and you feel the fear, which for, you know, a romance novel, pretty good going. But yeah, I love this. I love Santo's book. I love Santo as a character, and I love the fact, again, I say it time and time and time and time and time again, Lindsay Sands writes the best characters for me, the best men, because these men are meant to be like big manly men, like the men of all men. Like, these are warriors, these are fighters, these are men who have survived through literally like 3,000 years of being in different armies, being a mercenary, fighting with a sword, an axe, a mace, any weapon you can think of, this man can fight with. And yet, he will be a gentleman. And yet, he will respect women. And yet, he will respect people for who they are. He will know people who are of any colour, creed, religion, sexuality, gender, and he will respect them. He will treat them with respect. And his family will still love him no matter his mental state. Like, they will still love him, and they will still care for him. And they will still expect him to be treated as part of the family. Like, oh, I love these books. I love these books so much. Oh my god, I really, really do just love Lindsay Sands' writing so much, and the little bits she like pulls in about all these characters just builds such a good picture. This is what you mean, Vicky, isn't it? This is what you mean about when I go on about books. I'm sorry. You're a far cry from this book. This book is like 10 from the end, so you're going to have to keep reading if you want to get to Santo's story. Vicky is borrowing my books to read this series. And this is like number 30 something. So, you got a while to go, lovely. You got a while to go. So, that is my March TBR. That's all the books. Well, that is the planned books for March. I will probably dip in and out of my TBR cart for more books. I do have books on Kindle that I'll probably read. There are books that are probably going to get carried over. I've still not finished. I've not even... There are 2 books that I started last month and haven't even looked at since I started them. So if I don't get them finished, I'm just going to carry them over because that's how it works. If I want to pick up rereads, I might do, like, I've been really wanting to reread Magnus Chase. I have been really wanting to continue my reread of The Magicians. I've been wanting to reread this. I've been, like, there's so many books that I want to reread. So yeah, we will just have to see what I read in my March wrap up. So thanks very much for being here. Thanks very much for watching the video. And if you want to let me know you were here but you don't want to sit and type out a comment, give me a glasses emoji because there are some glasses on this book cover. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!